As a Game Master, there are countless tools to help us develop our worlds and improve how we run our sessions. Today, I want to take a step back from my usual videos to delve a bit deeper into one of them, offering insights into things that I like about it, what things, if any, that don't work as well for me, and whether it is worth you checking out. So, let's take a look at Runic Press's newly released What's My Foundation? One thing I want to make clear from the get-go is that this is not in any way sponsored. I backed What's My Foundation on Kickstarter to receive a PDF copy, which I then looked through. No copy was gifted to me, there was no reach out to me regarding this or different things I should pay specific attention to. This is just a video that I wanted to make to dive into a tool that can help game masters run better games. With that clarified, let's jump right into what you get with What's My Foundation. What's My Foundation is a 113-page booklet filled with examples and details on various world-building topics. No matter what part of your world building you are looking to expand on or create, there is something for you here. Maybe it's magic, maybe it's a made-up religion you want to make more real. Whatever the case, the authors have provided several ideas and examples that can be used to develop more comprehensive worlds. One thing that I like about the writing especially is that the information provided is comprehensive enough to explain a concept, but not so much that you're overwhelmed with details or ideas that your own creativity is stifled. For example, when looking at the origin of the world, we have 6 options for types that are shared: ex nihilo, primal forces, order from chaos, one happy family, parallel worlds, and cosmic struggle. Looking at these, there are several that I have a general idea of what they mean, but what would one happy family look like? Moving to that page, you get a small paragraph that discusses what it means to provide that clarity, and then we have versions of the story that could be a form of origin legend. For me, I appreciate that we can use these recommendations as a guide to design a framework, which we then get to decorate and fill out as we see fit. Artwork is sparse and simple, sprinkled throughout the supplement. It's not as filled to bursting as other large press materials, and honestly, that works more in its favor. What art is there becomes a unique and exciting morsel. There's just enough to keep everything exciting on the page without the layout being overwhelmed by too much art. In addition, it keeps the focus on the written material, ensuring that the reader can glean more details from the material without feeling like one section is focused on more than the other. Like many world builders, I have a tendency to drown myself in details. One idea leads to another, leads to another, leads to an entire day spent pondering a relatively unimportant detail. Now I'm sure you're wondering, what does this have to do with What's My Foundation? This seems more like a you problem. Well, the team at Runic Press took this into account when they set up their guide. Their work has been divided into 3 sections: the universe, the world, and the civilization. This is a fantastic template to organize everything in an upside-down pyramid, helping develop a big picture snapshot of your creation before it gets down into the granular details. Granted, not everyone needs to focus on as large of a scale as the creation of the universe, and to that point, each of these chapters is supposed to work independently of each other as well. But let's say you don't want to spend days upon days formulating different versions of the origin of the world for the disparate peoples of the setting. That is where another facet of Runic Press's book comes into play. Each part along this world-building journey has random tables and explanations to make things clear. This is a very versatile approach, allowing the Game Master to go through and pick out each bit that they want, or open the floodgates to a fully randomized world. Maybe there's a portion of world building that just doesn't interest you, and you don't want to dwell on it. Well, take a few dice, which you likely have around anyway, and roll on the table to input an idea, and then move on to something that does hold your interest. Or challenge yourself and let the dice be the arbiters of your setting. Let's see how this would look in practice. I want to showcase the origin of the world approach, and I know that there are more chapters that are just as interesting, but this video will likely already be long and I want there to be a reason for you to check out this resource for yourself. Suffice it to say that the material in later chapters are in the same vein as what we experienced in the example chapter we're looking at in this review. Let's see if we can recreate a world's mythology using the details from What's My Foundation. Maybe you have one in mind, but what I want to use is the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. For simplicity, I'm restricting these details to what we know of the first game and not including any of the sequels that expand the lore. The context that you need to know is that this is a world that sprang out from a cataclysmic event, and that the world's flora and fauna thrive atop two massive titans, essentially gods. Magic is limited, but there are some mystical elements in the world. So let's see if we can recreate the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 1. One thing we learn in the course of the game is that the world arose from an experiment that gave rise to the Titans. This best fits the description of the cosmic struggle, specifically the eternal war that these Titans are locked in. The world likewise has Earth-like qualities, which suggests that the cosmic system features an orange sun. There may be other planets, but this is the one that the game focuses on. With just that quick look, we have developed the world's cosmology, although a little bit on the cruder side. The next step is to consider the theological impacts of this on the world. So, what kind of divinity exists in Xenoblade Chronicles? We have two. The Bionis Titan is dormant, but is believed to have been the creator of life on that landform. Yet there is no affection for his creation, so it takes more of an ant farm approach. The Mechonis, meanwhile, is viewed by its inhabitants to be more of a cosmic tinkerer, influencing the survivability of its life forms. And already you see we have two ideologies that butt heads, creating a conflict that puts them at odds. The divine nature of these beings creates something a bit more challenging to quantify. On the one hand, the gods of Xenoblade Chronicles are believed to be intangible essences. However, we see that they can also imbue mortals with their essence and make them cosmic avatars too. So right there, we see that we can use this to offer one truth and a misinterpretation for the world. We also can tell that these gods' conflicts create a monotheist rivalry, allowing us to clarify what the pantheon exists as to the people of the world. Similarly, we can assign domains to them. The Bionis would control animal and life, while the Mechonis manages more of a war domain, with the caveat that this is more defense than aggression. One thing missing is more of a technology domain, which is surprising. Maybe this falls under the learning domain, but just a note that I came across. Already, with just a few minutes of looking through these first segments of the chapter, we have covered the origin of the world and tied that into aspects of the god's divinity in Xenoblade Chronicles 1. There's just one more part of this chapter that we need to touch on, and that's magic, which has just two questions. Firstly, what is the origin of magic? Is it global, inherited, learned, gifted, or random? Well, in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, the answer is that it is more of an inherited magic. Specific people like Melia inherit their power from their ancestry. The main character, Shulk, obtains the ability to see flashes of the future from being a wielder of the legendary Monado sword, and the reason he can use this blade is traceable through his bloodline. But the last question to ponder is what the cost of this magic can be. What does the magic impose upon its users for it to be wielded? Well, in Shulk's case, it takes a physical toll on his mental capacity. Melia's innate magic is based on ether, and it costs that resource for her to utilize her abilities. And there we have it. We have created a rough version of the Xenoblade Chronicles 1 universe from the preset details. But what if we wanted to create our own? Well, we could pick and choose what we needed, or we could have some fun with it. This time around, let's create a world completely from scratch, using the convenient tables that are in What's My Foundation. I'm going to speed up the footage here and then just make some rolls and notes as I go along so that you can see what my results are, and hopefully at the very end I'll be able to tie everything together in a cohesive, designed way. So, without further ado, let's have some fun. Okay, so having gone through all of that, this is a little bit tougher to parse together. I have a lot of different things that kind of go all hand in hand here, but let's start from the very beginning here. Again, this is all off the fly. Part of what you've seen before has not been fully, whatever comes up, but because I have been doing this live as I've been rolling, I have no idea what's going to come from it. The first case here is for the origin type, we ended up with Ex Nihilo, which you might see here, it's pretty much creation out of nothing. The myth that got selected was the hunger, which pretty much is saying that before creation there was only hunger, this deep aching void, because there was nothing to devour, something had to be created. So it was hunger devoured itself, and then it paradoxically creates the cosmos. Many of these planets, there are multiple ones that are like mirrors of each other. So on the one hand, we have two planets that are Earth-like with one moon, and then we have two planets that are crystalline, that have a mineral people that feed off of the solar energy. That's really exciting concept. I wonder how that could be used. But maybe they're a warlike group that, because they feed off of solar energy, they're able to spend more time perhaps away from their planet, and maybe they travel by spaceship to try to conquer other worlds because they can feed off the solar radiation that's more prevalent in space and not bouncing off of the atmosphere. Oh, that's an exciting thought. You can see, just from what I'm doing right here, the ideas are flowing and I haven't really tied it together fully, but that's the fun part, because now if I was to spend an actual bit of time trying to connect things together, I could make this into a unique world setting, and I find that fascinating and exciting. And the fact that it was done very quickly, just with a few rolls and with me blabbing to a camera essentially, I can see this working out well for people who want to build something on the fly. For Arcana, our magic system that I rolled was gifted. And with it being gifted, it was essentially you were chosen to bear that power and use that power. The limitation is that the world people's physiology fights against it because there's a physical toll, maybe like the mineral people. They have to expel the solar energy that they have absorbed to feed themselves in order to use their magic. So it takes the solar energy, so they absorb the solar energy, and with the solar energy then they can transform that into magic. World building seeds. This is really where What's My Foundation really thrives, and why I enjoy it, because it saves time when you're trying to get an idea if you come from nothing, or if you need more clarity as you go along, you can build off of the existing information. Okay, I'm going to stop droning on about this world that I created in just these few minutes here, and let's jump into my final thoughts. So with all that, what do I think about What's My Foundation? Well, if you can't tell from the glowing praise I've already heaped upon it, I rather like it a lot. This is a comprehensive guide to establishing a powerful framework that is the stepping stone for world building in a deliberate, organized way. The questions and examples that Runic Press include are right for expanding the information of the worlds you as a game master can create. On the same note, this is a fantastic resource for novelists creating new fantasy and sci-fi worlds. Considering the breadth of cultures and beliefs that exist in our world, this guide offers a quick means by which to explore these aspects. Need to develop an intricate fabricated legend for a cult leader? No problem. Roll something up or pick up and choose something that is similar to what you already have, but twisted in a way to make it more insidious. It's important to remember that the examples I've worked through in this video are just on the cosmic world level. What's My Foundation also delves into geography, ecology, different species and societal norms, history, and several other topics. What's My Foundation is an easy 10 out of 10 for me, and an addition that I would highly recommend for any world builder's library. If you like what you saw here, they have another booklet for character creation called What's My Motivation, as well as several other supplements for D&D and Daggerheart, and I highly recommend checking out their other material. That's it for me this time. Thanks for watching. I hope that this video offers a bit of inspiration so that you can add a little bit more drama to your tabletop games. Cheers.